I was fortunate enough in the very beginning, it was the early stages of music videos. So they called and said, would you like to try some choreography on, you know, Van Halen or David Lee Roth or something like this? And I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that kind of thing. So I tried it and I really loved it. And that's sort of how it all began.
As a choreographer, you worked with Michael Jackson, making music history together. The 25th anniversary of the Bad Tour will be in September. Could you share one of your wonderful memories in collaborating with Michael Jackson?
I collaborated with Michael Jackson for 17 years, so it's very difficult for me to pick one memory in all that time. Interesting that you mentioned the Bad Tour. Last night, actually, I went to a private screening at Sony. The Bad Tour was Michael Jackson's first solo tour. Prior to that, I had done a few wonderful projects with him. I danced in Beat It. I was one of the gang leaders in Beat It. I was also assistant choreographer in a zombie and Thriller. I did that, you know. And so I got to know Michael really well. And from that time, after Thriller, where I was just the assistant choreographer, he then called me and asked me if I would conceive and create a video for him to a song called Smooth Criminal. And then I did one for The Way You Make Me Feel, and multiple other pieces that were in his short film Moonwalker. And then his first tour came up and he asked me if I would direct it and choreograph it. And I did, and that was the Bad Tour. But I went on to work with him for many, many years after that, creating performances for him on the Grammys, on the Super Bowl, a couple commercials for Japan. The last thing that I did with him was at the end of the 90s, and I directed and choreographed a video that became #1 around the world called Blood on the Dance Floor.
You ended up directing a large number of dancers, actually, in Smooth Criminal. What was the largest dance ensemble you've worked with, and what was that like?
Well, I guess the largest, the largest group that I've ever given any direction to was when I choreographed the Super Bowl for Michael Jackson, and I had to talk to all of the people at the Super Bowl in the stadium because we did a card trick where Michael loved children, and so one of the things we did was we had people, all of the people in the audience, begin to hold up these cards, and as they went around the whole entire stadium, it turned into a chain of almost paper cutouts of little children holding hands, you know. That would have been the greatest mass of people, and what is that, 50,000 people or something? I don't even know.
You've also been a creative force in Madonna's performances.
Madonna was also another wonderful creative being who I had the opportunity to work with for many years, I think about 12 or 13 years. We got along really, really well. And I went from that to then choreographing a video for her called Express Yourself. And then, let me think what happened next. Oh, she asked me to choreograph and direct the Blonde Ambition tour. And that was the next piece that I did for her. So I think I was the only director-choreographer that she's ever used who did the entire show myself. All the other shows that she's done after that, she's hired like 5 or 6 or 7 different choreographers. Let me think, what did I do? Oh, then I did the movie Evita for her. I've done a lot of other projects with her, but Academy Awards, I can't think other things, but you know, it all kind of becomes a big blur after a while.
Oh, then you have a new project, actually, which you wrote and directed, I understand?
Yes, it's about to wrap up, actually. Yes, I was approached by Cirque du Soleil to create a dance show for them, and I worked with them for a few years, creating the piece, writing the piece. It was about Elvis Presley, and I think it's been over 2,000 some performances, at least maybe close to 3,000 performances. And over 1 million people have gone to the show, so it was a very exciting opportunity. And I really enjoyed having the opportunity to work with acrobats. I'd never done anything like that before. I like it when I'm challenged, when I have a bit of a task that I have to overcome, you know. I find that my juices get flowing a little better, and I have a much better time because I push myself to places where I thought maybe I would never go. Loving the Silent Tears, and I thought, you know what, this seems interesting. I like the idea of having a show like this and what's behind it. But when I was first approached, I thought, oh, this won't be difficult because it was poems that had been created into songs and dances that would accompany them. As we went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, so that it then became a story attached to the songs, and the cast went from one size to a bigger size to a bigger size to a bigger size. So now we're talking about something that's, you know, fairly close to almost a cast of 100 or more when you figure the orchestra and the principals and the ensemble and the 2 extra companies that we're bringing in. So from the first conversation to today, we've really expanded this project. I've been doing extensive research, but since this is dealing with cultures of many, many countries, in this show we will visit a wide range of countries from Asian countries, Vietnam, Korea, China, to European countries. We have France and we have Italy, Cuba is represented, Brazil is represented, Ireland is represented. Oh my gosh, Africa, the whole continent of Africa is represented. It's really, we're literally circling the globe with this project. I think it's fun, and I think it's deep enough that it has a resonance to it, but light enough that you're not bogged down with it. It's a nice story, and it has a nice beginning, middle, and ending, I think, and I think it's all interwoven beautifully now. Theater is a magical place, so I think that good theater is always about something spiritual. You experience something. I hope that when you leave the theater, something inside of you, some DNA has altered a little bit, so that maybe when you step outside of the theater door, you can create some positive fragment of energy that would act as a ripple effect and kind of pass that on throughout the world. I try to put something in there that people have to think about and somehow touches them deeply in some way, you know. It's going to be a really fascinating evening, and we have some amazing people lined up and still others that are to be filled in. Jody Watley is going to sing. I know that John Cicada is going to sing. I know that Black Uhuru is going to do the Jamaican section, and they're all very, very talented on the world stage. For the dancing cast, I'm absolutely blown away because the project that I did for Cirque du Soleil is closing at the end of this month, and Bonnie, who choreographed that along with me, we were fortunate enough to have some of the most amazing dancers who exist in the United States. And the majority of them are now going to come over and do this project with us. So we are blessed to have an amazing, amazing collection of dancers that will be with us. Our set designer and our lighting designer, projection designer, are 2 gentlemen who I've known of for a long time and have respected their work for a long time, but never had the joy to collaborate with. And I love that, you know, that you come into a new project, you meet new people, it's new energy, it's exciting, people come with fresh ideas, and that's part of the fun of creation, and that's part of the joy of what I get to do, is to, you know, to work with people who are experts in all their different fields, to kind of cull their minds for their best thoughts and then stick them all together to make something fantastic happen. And that's the fun of being a director. I had the first production meeting the other day, and I went through the script and talked through sets and sound effects and costumes and things like this. It's a mammoth, vast production. On this project, on Loving the Silent Tears, everyone so far has been so positive and so kind and with such open hearts and a beautiful perspective on how to live life. So I'm hoping that the outcome of what we put on the stage will reflect all the love and the energy and the goodness and the positive energy that we feel in putting this piece together. And I hope that everyone will be able to get a sense of what has inspired us to put this piece together, what it means to us, and the beautiful messages that we hope to present. Hi, my name is Vincent Paterson, and I'm the director of Loving the Silent Tears, and I want to say, be vegan, make peace.